Richard Tabler, A Descent into Darkness and the Ultimate Price. The pursuit of justice often leads us down paths shrouded in darkness, forcing us to confront the most unsettling aspects of human nature. Richard Tabler's story is one such path, a chilling narrative of murder, betrayal, and the state's ultimate response. Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. In 2004, Richard Tabler was initially apprehended for felony theft, a seemingly minor offense that would soon unravel a web of unspeakable crimes. Little did authorities know, this arrest would lead them to uncover a series of brutal murders that had terrorized the community. Tabler quickly became a suspect in the murders of Tiffany Dotson and Amanda Benefield, two young women whose lives were tragically cut short. Under intense questioning, Tabler confessed to the murders of Dotson and Benefield, providing details that only the killer could know. His confession didn't stop there. Tabler implicated Timothy Payne in the murders of Mohammed Amin Ramouni and Haytham Frank Zayed, a Thanksgiving double murder that had shocked the nation. As a result, Tabler and Payne were both charged with capital murder for the deaths of Ramouni and Zayed. Tabler faced additional capital murder charges for the deaths of Dotson and Benefield, setting the stage for a complex and emotionally charged legal battle. The legal proceedings that followed were fraught with twists and turns. Tabler, in a dramatic turn of events, recanted his confession, claiming he had been coerced by investigators. Both Tabler and Payne entered pleas of not guilty, setting the stage for separate trials that would determine their fate. The grand jury indicted Tabler and Payne for the Thanksgiving double murder, solidifying the prosecution's case against them. Simultaneously, the grand jury indicted Tabler for the Benefield-Dotson murders, ensuring that he would face justice for all the crimes he was accused of committing. The prosecution, determined to seek the ultimate punishment, announced its intention to pursue the death penalty for Tabler. The defense team filed a motion to remove the death penalty, arguing that Tabler suffered from diminished responsibility. However, the court rejected this motion, paving the way for a capital trial. Tabler's trial for the Ramouni and Zayed murders began in March 2007, a pivotal moment in the pursuit of justice. Jury selection commenced on February 12, 2007, a meticulous process aimed at ensuring a fair and impartial jury. Opening arguments were made on March 19, 2007, setting the stage for a trial that would captivate the nation. On March 21, 2007, the jury found Tabler guilty of the Ramouni and Zayed murders, a verdict that sent shockwaves through the courtroom. The sentencing trial was slated to commence on March 26, 2007, where the jury would decide whether Tabler would live or die. On April 2, 2007, the jury delivered its verdict. Richard Tabler was sentenced to death. The charges for the Benefield and Dotson murders remained pending, with no trial date set. Meanwhile, Timothy Payne was tried separately for the Ramouni and Zayed murders in November 2007. Payne was convicted of capital murder but received a sentence of life imprisonment, with the possibility of parole in 2044. This disparity in sentencing would later fuel further debate and scrutiny. Following his sentencing, Tabler was incarcerated on death row at the Alan B. Polensky Unit, a grim and isolated existence. After a suicide attempt in October 2008, he was temporarily moved to the Jester-Free Unit, a facility designed to provide closer supervision. Throughout his time on death row, Tabler repeatedly attempted to waive his appeals and requested his execution, a disturbing and perplexing desire. The first time he asked to drop his appeals and wanted to die was on October 17, 2008. The second time he sent a letter to a judge to withdraw his appeal and called for his immediate execution was on May 8, 2010. A hearing was held in 2011 to determine if he was mentally competent to forego his appeals, raising serious questions about his state of mind. On October 15, 2012, Tabler reiterated his death wish, further complicating the legal proceedings. In September 2013, Tabler again expressed his intention to not appeal, seemingly resigned to his fate. Despite his repeated requests, the legal system continued to scrutinize his case. Tabler appealed against the trial verdict on December 16, 2009, but the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals dismissed his appeal. Originally scheduled to be executed in February 2010, a stay of execution was issued, granting him a temporary reprieve. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals rejected his appeal on October 3, 2014, further narrowing his options. A follow-up appeal was also rejected by the Fifth Circuit on January 27, 2015, leaving him with few remaining avenues for legal recourse. The U.S. District Court for the Western District of Texas turned down the appeal of Tabler on June 10, 2021. His appeal was dismissed by the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals on October 19, 2023, signaling the end of his legal battles. The U.S. Supreme Court denied his final appeal on October 7, 2024, sealing his fate. Even within the confines of death row, Tabler continued to engage in criminal activity, demonstrating a disturbing disregard for the law. He was caught using a smuggled phone to make threatening calls to State Senator Whitmire, a brazen act of defiance. The smuggled phone was shared with 9 other prisoners, highlighting the challenges of maintaining security within the prison system. Tabler's mother was arrested for procuring the phone, further implicating his family in his criminal behavior. He was charged with making threats and possessing prohibited items in May 2009, adding to his already extensive list of offenses. Tabler was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment for these charges, a sentence that would run concurrently with his death sentence. He sent death threat letters to Whitmire, escalating his campaign of intimidation. Tabler used a prison chaplain to smuggle the letters, exploiting a position of trust for his own nefarious purposes. He even created a weblog to threaten Whitmire's life, demonstrating a calculated and persistent effort to cause harm. These actions further solidified his image as a dangerous and unrepentant criminal. In late 2024, a death warrant was signed, setting the stage for Richard Tabler's execution. The execution was scheduled for February 13, 2025, marking the culmination of years of legal battles and appeals. In the days leading up to his execution, Tabler expressed remorse and claimed to be at peace with his fate, a sentiment that was met with skepticism by some. His lawyers petitioned for clemency, arguing that his mental state warranted a reprieve, but their efforts were ultimately unsuccessful. On February 13, 2025, at the age of 46, Richard Tabler was executed by lethal injection. In his final statement, he expressed remorse and thanked his supporters, offering a glimpse of humanity amidst the darkness. Richard Tabler's story serves as a stark reminder of the complexities of the criminal justice system and the profound consequences of violent crime. It forces us to confront difficult questions about justice, punishment, and the human capacity for both good and evil. The case of Richard Tabler leaves us grappling with the moral implications of the death penalty. Was justice truly served, or did the state simply perpetuate a cycle of violence? We encourage you to delve deeper into this case, research the arguments for and against the death penalty, and form your own informed opinion. Share this video to spark meaningful conversations about crime, punishment, and the pursuit of justice. Subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analyses of complex legal cases.